Hello and welcome to Curry Talks, the show where the Curry community learns more about each other. I'm your host, Alex Alicio. Today's guest is Christian King, the head chef at Curry College. We'll be discussing some of the ins and outs of the Curry food services. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. Now, when it comes to food, Curry is working in partnership with Sodexo, a food service company which aims to provide sustainable and nutritious meals to schools, hospitals, companies, etc. How does Sodexo work with Curry to give students and staff healthy food?
Well, our menu is very complex. There's over 40 items down there which change daily. That is reflected on your portal. You can go check out what's for lunch tomorrow. All the nutritionals are with those items. But in addition to that, we like to train the students that they're the variable. They're welcome to come down and have a nice, healthy, lean piece of salmon or hit the salad bar, or they can go in the other direction.
All right, awesome. Yeah, the importance of good nutrition really can't be overstated here, especially when it has such a big impact on academic achievement. So, of course, people have different dietary needs, whether it be medical, religious, or other personal reasons. So how do you accommodate these different requirements?
So we actually have our own allergy station called Simple Servings. It's void of the 9 major allergens. But in addition to that, before we renovated down there, we didn't have that station. And I don't like to use the term deal with, but we would deal with allergy students on a one-on-one basis. We still do that. So if they happen to go over to Simple Servings and maybe they're not in the mood for chicken today, they're welcome to come over to the other side and find one of my 6 trained chefs.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I see. So I'd like to talk for a minute about the human side of the Curry food. So how many people are currently employed in the Curry food service and how are they chosen?
We have over 80 employees, especially now that we've opened Einstein's. We have a vetting process. It's an AI process. So if they're looking for a job, they go on Indeed and they'll find the job. And next thing you know, they're dealing with an AI rep. They're background checked through that. Then they actually get to meet me once they get all through that. Then I have a series of questions to find out where I can put you. Can you cook? Can you serve? What are your skills?
Yeah, what kind of different departments are like behind the scenes at the Curry food service?
So, we have an extensive utility crew who does all your dishes. They keep the place clean. We have cook 1s, cook 2s, cook 3s, and senior cooks. The senior cooks are the sous chefs. We have 2 sous chefs. We have 2 receivers. We have, I'm sure you've been over to Starbucks. There's 3 employees over there. And now with the Einsteins, I think they have 5 or 6 new employees.
No. So it seems like there's a lot going on behind the scenes here.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that there are some people who are involved that are student workers.
There are.
So how did they get involved?
Well, every fall we recruit. I would say if I recruit 12 students, I might get 3 of them. Our pay is competitive. It's a fun environment. You get to learn a lot because I will put you in the bakery one day or with my team the other day or working on the grill, learning how to make a pizza. One of our students, Nevaeh, I believe she even works at Starbucks a couple days a week.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so for any students who are watching this, if you're looking for on-campus employment, check out jobs.us.sodexo.com and look for the student worker section. So before we wrap up, I have one more question. Sure. What is something you wish people knew more about the Curry food service?
I wish they could come and I can give them a tour. I love it when students come in on Unaccepted Students Day, which we just had last weekend, and they're with mom and dad, and I give them a tour because I think that people's view of what we do is very minimal. They don't understand the vast what goes into doing all this. We feed 14,000 meals a week. We're a small college. Food service is a huge competition nowadays. It's different from when I went to school. So I would love to give people a tour.
All right, awesome. Well, that does it for this episode of Curry Talks. Thank you so much for your time today, Christian. I'm your host, Alex Alicio. Please tune in next time for another episode of Curry Talks.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm Amari Spencer and I'm a student here at Curry College. This is a show where we talk about people about the Curry College community. Today's guest is Jasmine Spears, who is a junior here at Curry and is an active member of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion here on campus. She's here to tell us about more what ODI does for the community and what she knows about it. Tell us more about that.
So ODI is a space upstairs in the student center that has TVs, beanbag chairs, and a meeting room, and it serves as a place where all students should feel supported and listened to, as well as faculty and staff members.
How often do you have people come into your office?
We have people coming into our office regularly. One of our important jobs actually is to make sure that we check in people and we log in how many people are coming in, especially with the recent DEI issues. We need to make sure that the space is being used.
That's good to know. I understand you're an ambassador at ODI. Can you tell us more about that and what you do there?
So during my shifts, my responsibility is to keep the space clean and accessible, as well as serve as a friendly face for people at the front desk if they have questions or if they have an appointment with Jeanette or Marcus or Jem. So, and I also facilitate programs there.
How often do you guys host events for
We
people?
try to host events at least every month, more than once a month. So we're trying like really, really hard to facilitate larger and smaller based programs for everybody.
What events does that include?
That includes like brunch and brush, some of our brother to brother and sister to sister programs.
I'm sure we're all curious to know, what inspired you to be a part of ODI?
I wanted to be a part of a place that encouraged differences, and I wanted to make sure that everybody at the Curry College community felt accepted regardless of who they were and their identity.
I heard there was a lot of legislation regarding DEI under the new presidential administration. Are you seeing any impacts of DEI with the ODI office?
It's honestly more just making sure that we log in people on our iPad and checking in, so we have an accurate number of who is coming into the space, so that we can show people that the space is needed and it's wanted.
And what times are you is ODI open?
ODI is open from 10 a.m. to like 5 p.m. We're staffed from 10 a.m. to around 4 p.m.
So anyone on Curry campus could come?
Yes.
Okay. That's great to know. You know, a lot of people are not really social on campus, so that would be, I feel like that's a good program to have for students who don't have social connections. They could bond connections there.
Yeah, one of our main goals is to, during our programs, facilitate open conversation where people feel safe and that they can ask questions and just have like an open-minded conversation with others.
I know we just talked about the brunch and brush event. What's the importance of those events? What's your main goal?
Well, the importance of events is just to make sure that people have a space where they can feel connected and maybe meet people that they never thought that they would become friends with, and also serve as a space where we can educate people on any topics that include anything about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Do you guys collaborate with OSC or any other student?
Yes, we do. We
campus?
collaborate with POW, we collaborate sometimes with QSA, and we do collaborate with OSC. And Curry Wellness and Curry Spiritual Life.
So you guys go on trips and all that?
We don't go on trips, but we sometimes like sponsor the food trucks and stuff like that. So.
Do you think people on campus will enjoy that?
Yeah, I mean, like people have enjoyed the food trucks and some of our bigger events that we've done, like the recent brother to brother haircut event. That was pretty successful.
I heard about that. I was getting emails. I like the communication that this program has. So it really like brings people out of their shell to meet new people and be comfortable.
Yeah, that's the goal, and to honestly meet people that you really never thought that you were going to be friends with.
So if you could tell everybody one thing about ODI, what would it be?
That it is for everybody. It's not just for people of color. It benefits everybody by promoting a sense of belonging.
Okay, that's great. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of our show. So why don't you let people know where you can find the ODI office?
So you can find it upstairs in the Student Center, and if you want more information, you can go to the Curry College website and just search up Diversity Center.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jasmine, and giving us some great information about ODI, which is Office of Inclusion. Be sure to check out the next event and visit them for more information. I'm Amari Spencer, and you're joining us here on Curry Talks.
welcome to Curry Talks, a show where we learn more about our campus and each other. I'm Andrew Lyrequist, and for this show, I'm joined here with Acting Library Co-Director at the Lebanon Library, our guest, Mary Ryan. She'll be talking with us about our library's importance and its various services it offers. Welcome, Mary.
Welcome, Andrew.
So tell us, students are aware that the library is a wonderful place to study, but what other benefits do they have to go there?
Well, one thing about studying is that the bottom level of the library is really one of the only places on campus that's supposed to be completely quiet. So that's a good thing for students that have a learning style that they really get easily distracted. There's cubbies in there, little nooks and crannies that they can study in, and versus upstairs where there's our group study and they can sit around a monitor, plug in their computer. We have an interactive whiteboard that they could use too. So the different styles for the different learning styles, spaces for different styles of learning and studying.
That's cool. We have a database within the Lebanon Library that everyone has access to it. It provides everyone with journals and newspaper and other things that we should need. What else could you find in there?
Well, we have links to the online journals, the databases in all different subject areas. We have streaming media in different collections, documentaries, some popular, some course-related media that students would have probably a lot of times linked right in their Canvas site, but they can also go on, even if they're not in those courses, film courses or whatever, and have access to them. We can get materials from other libraries if we don't have the journals that you're looking for through interlibrary loan. We have children's literature for students that are taking the children's literature course that aren't in education. We have a whole collection of children's books. They could be for a communication assignment also, or just for whatever.
Yeah, I use all the film stuff from my film classes all the time to watch a movie I maybe missed in class. So that's really awesome that we have the opportunity to use all those things in the library. In the backhand area of the library, they have a special area called the Makerspace, where you have a 3D printer and other items students would need to build their projects. Explain more on how that all came to be.
Well, that actually came from former tech director, and they had a student group that actually wanted to have 3D printing and some of those resources. So they wanted to find a centralized place to house it. So right now we have 2 3D printers. One actually is getting serviced right now, but and we have other tools that could be of interest for students when they're doing their final projects. We have glue, scissors, craft materials. We have hot and cold laminator. We have a button maker. You know, a lot of sewing machine, different things that if students either for course related or relaxation want to come and hang out there.
It's great. Recently, it was National Library Week, and the library was doing a raffle. What other kind of events do the library do for the students?
We've had some programs in the makerspace. We did have that road show that we went around with our hats on, celebrating Library Week, and we had a pizza party for us to celebrate our student workers. But April 23rd, we're going to have a poetry slam. April is Poetry Month. So we're going to, any student that has written poetry or wants to read poetry, there's an online QR code on the flyers that they could register, come to our luncheon there, enter the raffle, and there's going to be some decent money prizes or gift cards. So that would be a good thing to come to.
Well, thank you, Mary. This brings us to the end of our show. For more information, please come visit our library in the academic quad or visit our website. I'm Andrew Lyrequist. Please join us for another edition of Curry Talks.
Don't forget to ask.
Hello, and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm your host, Tyler Gatling, and this is the show where we learn more about the Curry community. I'm here with today's guest, Officer Patrick Foley, who's newly hired here. Officer Foley, thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about what led you to the Curry community from your prior work experience?
Certainly. I've been in public safety and law enforcement for over 15 years. Prior to Curry, I was the Deputy Chief of Police at Berkeley College in Boston. And when I saw the position become available at Curry, I thought it was a unique opportunity to really challenge myself from completely changing my environment from a city landscape, open campus to a small, tight-knit, closed campus outside of the city. And it was quite appealing.
Well, that's nice, yeah. Do you have any plans to keep wide walking security? Will you be able to build a new public safety department, and how will that work? Yeah.
So the Windwalker Security Company was brought in as a temporary solution when staffing got to critical levels during the late summer, early fall. They will be phased out this summer. I've been very busy pretty much since day one on hiring. That was really the number one thing stressed to me about this position was rebuilding the staff. And we're about 3 positions away from being full. So there will be a lot of new faces in the coming weeks, and they will no longer be with us after the summer.
Okay. And then Curry College has unarmed public safety officers. Do you plan to keep that or do you plan to carry on the weapons?
So
equipment.
Right now there is no plan to change how the staff have been currently unarmed. So it will remain that way.
Okay. And if students want to get more involved under the public safety department, what are some ways that they could do?
So hopefully coming fall will be a safety and security committee that students will be able to join and participate in. The purpose of that committee will be to, one, have ownership in the safety and security services here at Curry. It'll be a great opportunity to provide feedback, suggest new ideas, new ways of doing things, and really help guide the department from a student perspective.
Okay. So also, in addition to hiring you, any changes coming up on campus, do you know of?
Not that I know of. I know parking is a big issue that gets brought to our attention a lot. There's been a lot of work going into that, so hopefully there will be less headaches around parking come the fall. So there'll be a lot of work being done on that, but no big sweeping changes from our end.
Okay. Well, thank you for having us. Thank you for being a part of this show on Curry Talks. For more information, please go to www.currycollege.com website for more information on how to get involved in the public safety. I'm Tyler Gatling, and this is Curry Talks.
Hi, welcome to Curry Talks, the show where the Curry community learns more about each other. I'm your host, Shahar Manning, and I'm here with Will Scoufaras, who is the director of the student-run radio station WMLN-FM 91.5. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing all right, Shahar. Thank you for having me.
Right, so you're the director, and that's a big responsibility running being a director for a school radio station. What does that entail for you?
Well, it involves running a department of X amount of students. Each department kind of varies, and each semester it kind of varies depending on how many people you have. Usually music gets a lot, so I probably get like around 7, 8 students that I have to manage. And my job for them is basically I'm responsible for making sure they're doing everything that they're supposed to, like in terms of uploading songs, fixing songs if songs have an issue, or if what they have to do for credit in their department is they have to do what's called a music read. So basically they will basically they will write about an artist, and it could be anything, a song about the artist themselves, whatever. And it has to be like around 30 seconds to a minute. So I got to make sure that they do at least 3 of them, because they need at least 3 to pass the department aspect of radio. So I'm in charge of making sure and tallying how many they have and going over it, giving them approval so they can put it on, so they can speak it on air. And
So you're just kind of like overseeing what happens.
I'm overseeing what's happening, basically. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So now the station manager is the person who chooses the director.
Correct.
What did you do to catch the attention of the station manager and make them think that you're the right person for the job?
That's a good question. So when I did music, I've been doing it since my first semester freshman year. And it was around sophomore year-ish, I would like to say. I really wanted to get more into uploading, because one of the things that I did before I became director, I really wanted to learn more how to do uploading, because before I got this position, not really a lot of people did a lot of uploading. So I really wanted to learn uploading. So I did that a lot as a student, and that caught the attention of who was the music director then, Drew Rowell, and he recommended me to Ken, so that ultimately got me the interview. So I got the interview. I had it with our former director, Mike Ellett, and I answered all the questions, and I ended up getting the job. They really liked my presence. I answered the questions for them. Actually, I think one thing that I think everyone would be interested to hear is there was one thing that he asked, if there was anything I could change about the department. What
would that be?
Well, one thing that I answered was making sure that everyone was in the loop on uploading, because it was very rarely taught before I became director. And I thought everyone having a shift going in and doing uploads whenever they can, well, not whenever they can, they have a set time that they come in to do uploads was the way to go, so people can learn how to do it, and they'd be in a constant loop, and we'd be able to catch up on songs and everything. Because I tell you, Shahar, we had like 20 song request sheets with 20 blanks I first came in.
I'm sure we could go on for like a million years.
Oh my God,
about this, but
yes, we can.
We got a show here.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Let's
continue.
Out
of all of the events that the school radio station hosts, which one's your favorite?
Has to be Synced Up.
Synced Up?
Has to be Synced Up. Because, everyone, it was different this year because weather, typical Massachusetts.
Of course.
But the nice thing, though, about Synced Up in general is that they have a nice outdoor stage. Everyone kind of gets to showcase their talent. We're basically kind of hosting it. It's broadcasted on air. Everyone's having such a good time and partying. And we've had a few bands perform in the past too, and just everyone just gets like right up in front of the stage and just jumps and has a great time. It's awesome.
All right, well, that about does it for our episode. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course,
I'm your
Shahar.
host, Shahar Manning. Tune in next time for another episode of Curry Talks.
Hello, and welcome to Curry Talks, the show where we learn about different supports for the Kernel student community. I'm Andrew Larquist, and today we're diving into the exciting wellness world here at Curry College. Wellness coordinator Elizabeth Helmreich is here to share insights on promoting student support and fostering healthier and more enjoyable experiences here on Curry College campus. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad that you're here. I know that you're a new staff member here at Curry College, so what interests you into coming here?
Great question. I liked Curry a lot because it seemed a bit like my alma mater, Wheaton, in that it was a small liberal arts kind of institution in Massachusetts, but also this wellness coordinator position gave me a lot of leeway to do a lot of fun and interesting things on campus in all different realms of wellness, which was exciting.
Oh, that's awesome. We should let our viewers know you're in a new health and wellness center location. The center is focused on what you call the 6 dimensions of wellness. Can you please explain what that is?
Totally. So wellness here at Curry encapsulates between 6 to 8 dimensions of wellness, depending on who you're talking to. And what it is it talks about how each dimension of wellness, so each part of our wellness, influences the other to create kind of our own lives, healthy or otherwise. So things like our physical wellness, spiritual, emotional, financial, occupational, intellectual, environmental, and so on. And all these things influence the way that we see the world, ourselves, and perceive kind of our environments.
That's great. With 25% of Curry students commuting daily to campus, it's my understanding that this center oversees a special lounge dedicated to them on the 2nd floor of Hafer. Share with us the concept of creating this special lounge and how students can find this space beneficial.
Yeah. So the commuter lounge came from student affairs generally, which I'm very grateful to be a part of. And the idea behind the commuter lounge, from what I understand, is to give a space for those students, those 25% that you talked about, a place where they feel comfortable and at home here on campus, a space that felt like their own since they can't access the residence halls. And that's how it came into be, with a new couch and a new TV that our student affairs department and Eric Murisep really put a lot of work into making a space where these students feel like they could feel at home here on campus.
Yeah, it's great that Curry is really helping out commuters here on campus.
Definitely.
There are a few events here that the Wellness puts on through the school year, like Condom Casino. Can you please describe what students can expect to experience during these programs?
Definitely. So my background in public health is in sexual and reproductive health. It's what I love. I'm a sexuality educator by trade. So throughout the year, I put on a lot of events like the Pleasure series, where I've talked about sex and reproductive health and sexuality generally on campus. And Condom Casino was one of those events, and it's probably the biggest of the year. And so it was an event that combined casino games, where your chips are condoms, with safer sex and sexuality information, talking about everything from using the correct names for our body parts to menstrual stigma and so on. And at the end of the day, the students that took the survey about Condom Casino, 85% of them said they knew where on campus they could talk to someone about sex and relationships, and 75% said they learned something new about safer sex. And that's what I'm here for, to try to give students more knowledge, more information, and feel more empowered in their bodies.
It's awesome. Condom Casino was a really great event.
Thanks.
Yeah. Finally, what can students do to get involved here on campus for wellness?
That's a great question. I think right now, just any interest is a great help to me. So coming to my events, even just saying hi to me on campus, coming to meet with me for one-on-one meetings if you have any questions about your own health and wellness is really important, because I love to just chat with students. Beyond that, I think looking out for different student worker positions or internships. If your major needs an internship, you're always welcome to come and see if it would be a good fit to work with me. So coming to my events, engaging with me on campus, thinking about what working with me or working in wellness could look like would all be great ways to get involved, and just kind of keeping an eye out. Following at Curry Wellness on Instagram too is always a great help.
Well, thank you for being a guest on our show today. It looks like we are all out of time. For more information about Wellness Center, go to Curry's website, www.curry.edu/wellness. I'm Andrew Lyerquist, and I hope you all come back to join us again on Curry Talks.
Hello and welcome to Curry Talks. I'm Alex Alicio, and today's guest is music professional, radio broadcaster, and hip-hop expert, Nate Simmonds. We'll be talking about hip-hop culture today and hear a little bit more about Nate's music career focus. Welcome, Nate.
How you doing?
What got you interested in hip-hop in the first place?
Well, growing up, my mom and my dad, they're really big into music. My dad grew up in New York City, so I got a mix of everything, the hip hop, the Caribbean stuff, the country stuff, because he also went to high school down south. So it was just a mix of everything, and I honestly fell in love with it. I remember as a kid, I told him I wanted to be a producer and wanted to make music, and around COVID, I figured out how to start doing that. So that's where it really stemmed from my parents.
That's really cool. Did you have any favorite artists growing up?
Growing up, it's a little controversial. I would say my favorite artist is Kanye. So, yeah.
Been in the headlines a little bit recently,
yeah.
But
You gotta separate the music from
exactly, yeah. So I understand that you're one of the head student producers at WMLN. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So at WMLN, it's one of the first radio stations on the East Coast for a college. So that's very big. We just celebrated 50 years not too long ago. And it's a good position for me because I make music and we cover all the liners. And the liner basically is, if you're ever listening to a radio station like the Sports Hub or Jammin' 94.5, which is the Boston stations, and you hear the liners like the artists and they're saying like, oh, you're tuned into this, that, whatever it is. That's what I'm doing at Curry's radio station. I've helped with the election last year. I've helped with the spring weekend this year, and anything that needed to be like a liner, they just came to us. And my partner Chewy, who a lot of people do know, I don't remember his last name, but Chewy, I think it's Gomez. Yeah, Chewy Gomez. We both like do the liners and everything at the station.
That's really interesting stuff, yeah. As a producer at WMLN, do you think there really is any like hip hop influence at Curry?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, hip hop is a culture. I see a lot of kids that dress in this like kind of hip hop kind of streetwear fashion, and that all stems from hip hop and everything. So I do think there is a bit of a culture in the hip hop on Curry's campus.
Yeah, I think definitely we've seen a lot of that like in the fashion lately for sure. In your opinion, what are some of the biggest names in hip hop, and how do you think they've influenced the music industry?
Well, I gotta keep it home, so I want to say like Run DMC, 50 Cent, LL Cool J, Ja Rule, Nicki Minaj. These are all like people from New York City where I grew up and everything, and they're just like a big influence. Seeing that people from my own place, like where I'm from, made it out and took it to the top with this music stuff, it really inspires me that I know I can do the same thing. It's a different generation, but we're still making good music outside.
Yeah,
so.
That's really cool. So, you know, most recently in the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar was the halftime show. How does it feel to see, you know, a hip hop artist on such like a worldwide stage?
It was honestly pretty cool. I heard a lot of mixed reviews about the concert, but me being a hip hop fan and honestly liking Kendrick for a long time, it was very cool to see that happen because you don't really get to see a lot of that. And especially at the Super Bowl, one of the most viewed sports games in the entire world. It's a big achievement for him, and I'm actually happy for him. You know, he had a great year.
Definitely a great year for sure. All right, so as you know, many parents aren't big fans of like their kids and explicit content and all that. Do you think hip hop, you know, has any influence on younger generations in that?
Well, from what I've seen, I would say yes and no. It depends on what type of hip hop it is, because not all hip hop is about that explicit, like the gangs, drugs, and all the nonsense and everything. There is hip hop that is about that, but not everything is that. And I do see that influence from the hip hop that it is about. I've watched it happen. I know kids that only listen to a certain type of music and how aggressive they are, and then I know kids that don't listen to that music, and they're completely different. So there is a slight influence there.
Definitely. All right, well, thank you so much, Nate, for taking time to talk to us today. Talking a little bit about hip hop here at Curry. Thank you for watching Curry Talks. I'm Alex Licio, and join us next time for another episode.